Though Halloween isn't for another 2 months, I've decided to tackle this here franchise it's named after again, as I'm about to bring to you a re-review of Rob Zombie's take on the classic itself, which is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a re-review of the 2007 slasher flick Halloween, released by Dimension Films along with MGM, directed by Rob Zombie, who also wrote and produced the film. This is a remake of the 1978 film of the franchise and ninth installment of the Halloween franchise overall, starring Tyler as the adult version of the killer himself, Michael Myers, along with Malcolm McDowell, Scout Taylor-Compton, Dyke Farch, if I mispronounce it, I do apologize, as the young Michael Myers. Now, this is kind of a reimagining following the premise of the original, with Michael Myers stalking Laurie Strode and her friends on Halloween night. Now, working from Carpenter's advice to make this film his own, Zombie chose to develop the film as both an origin story and a remake, allowing for more original content than simply refilming the same scenes. So, now I'm getting it. At least this is not an actual shot-by-shot one completely, like what we got with Psycho 1998 and Cabin Fever 2016, which I recently watched, but I don't want to get on the subject of those. Thank you very much. So let's go ahead and get started with the story. On Halloween in Haddonfield, Illinois, having already exhibited signs of psychopathic tendencies, 10-year-old Michael Myers murders a school bully, who was played by Daryl Sabara, who you knew best as Junie from the Spy Kids franchise, and of course, still a little bit of a ways before he got married to a certain Meghan Trainor, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to try to bring up controversies or anything like that, thank you. Plus, he also killed his mother's abusive stepfather, Ronnie White, and his older sister, Judith, and boyfriend, Steve Haley. After one of the longest trials in the state's history, Michael was found guilty of first-degree murder and sent to Smith's Grove Sanitarium under the care of child psychologist Dr. Samuel Loomis. Michael initially cooperates with Loomis, and his mother, Deborah, visits him regularly. Over the following year, Michael becomes dissociative, fixating on papier-mâché masks and withdrawing from the people around him, even his mother. When Michael kills a nurse as Deborah is leaving from one of her visits, she is unable to handle the situation and commits suicide. For the next 15 years, Michael continues making masks and not speaking to people. Loomis, having continued to treat Michael over the years, attempts to move forward with his life and closes Michael's case. Later, Michael escapes from Smith's Grove, killing the guards and hospital staff in the process. He then kills a truck driver for his clothes and makes his way back to Haddonfield. On Halloween, Michael arrives at his now abandoned childhood home, where he recovers the kitchen knife and Halloween mask he stored under the floorboards the night he killed his sister. Laurie Strode and her friends Annie Brackett and Linda Vanderklok prepare for Halloween. Throughout the day, Laurie witnesses Michael watching her from a distance. Later at night, Linda meets up with her boyfriend Bob Sims at Michael's abandoned home. But you guessed it, Michael appears and murders them, and then heads to the Strode home while Laurie is babysitting Tommy Doyle and murders her parents Mason and Cynthia. Dr. Loomis, having been alerted of Michael's escape, arrives in Haddonfield looking for Michael. After obtaining a handgun, Loomis attempts to warn Sheriff Lee Brackett that Michael has returned to Haddonfield. Loomis and Brackett head to the Strode home, with Brackett explaining along the way that Lori is really Michael's baby sister, having been adopted by the Strodes following their mother's suicide. All right, for the final act and the ending. As always, you know the procedure. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below. If you've seen the movie already, please continue. Thank you, and here we go. Okay, you've been warned. After convincing Lori to babysit Lindsay Wallace while spending time with her boyfriend Paul, Annie is attacked by Michael after he kills Paul at the Wallace residence. Bringing Lindsay home, Lori finds Annie badly injured on the floor but still alive and calls for help. Michael attacks Lori and chases her back to the Doyle residence. Loomis and Brackett hear the call over the radio and head toward the Wallace residence. Michael kidnaps Lori and takes her back to their old home. He tries to show Lori that she is his sister, presenting a picture of them with their mother. Unable to understand, Lori stabs Michael before escaping the house. Michael chases after her, but Loomis arrives and shoots him 3 times. Recovering, Michael recaptures Lori and heads back to the house. Loomis intervenes, but Michael subdues him. Lori takes the gun and runs upstairs, but Michael corners her on a balcony and charges her head on, knocking both of them over the railing. Lori awakens on top of an unconscious Michael. Lori aims the gun at Michael, with Michael's hand grabbing her wrist just as the gun is fired. End of story. Yeah. Much more different than what we would see in the original, you know. So what did I think of Rob Zombie's Halloween? Well, I have my likes and dislikes of this film. Now, my likes is I do appreciate the dark tone of this. I do like the, how should I put it? Well, I do like some of the origin story, but I think it could have used just a little bit of trimming and what have you. Because a lot of that wasn't really necessary, you know. And believe me, that bit where Michael's around his folks, where his language non-stop, and the bully and what have you, kind of going on about Michael's sister, yeah, I think that could have been trimmed down a little too. But anyway, enough said. Yeah, that's just some of my well, dislikes and what have you. Now, I have seen both the theatrical and unrated versions. I like the theatrical a little better because I've watched that numerous times. Anyway, I really think the film is, well, alright, what have you. It's not really one of the best Halloween movies because I am much more a fan of the original Halloween, but I do have kind of a lukewarm liking for this film. Anyway, yeah. This film still, however, became a big hit in the box office in ways, going on to make 80 million worldwide. And making this a big hit for Rob Zombie, considering after he directed some, well, more underrated films, like the first 2 films in the Firefly family trilogy, which those films, of course, were House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. I don't really consider this to be Zombie's best film because I like The Devil's Rejects. That was a much more cooler and more awesome film. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Now, as for the cast and what have you, now, I do like Tyler May as Michael Myers, the adult version. Man, he is brutal and what have you. I mean, he was more good, well, just as good as this as he was as Sabretooth in X-Men a few years back. Playing Dr. Loomis is Malcolm McDowell, and, well, he was okay. Not as good as Donald Pleasance, though. He tries to do his extreme best. Scout Taylor-Compton plays Lori, and, well, she's, well, factually reasonable, but she's no Jamie Lee Curtis, though. No, sir, and no ma'am either. Now, Now, playing Sheriff Lee Brackett is Brad Dourif, who you mostly know from some horror movies like The Exorcist 3, and I believe he was in Graveyard Shift and several others, but you know him best as the voice of a serial killer doll named Chucky. Yeah, really big surprise to see him in this. Playing Deborah Myers, Michael's mother, is Sherry Moon Zombie, Rob Zombie's real life wife who has appeared in his movies. She's due to appear in his next film, which is The Munsters, which will be coming out, well, real soon. I will be reviewing that, promise. William Forsythe plays Ronnie White, and boy, I got to say, this guy's, I don't know. Let's see here. We also have some other names like Udo Kier, Clint Howard. He's been in some horror flicks. Danny Trejo, Bill Moseley, who of course also from the Firefly family trilogy. Let's see. We have Christina Klaeb as Linda. Yeah, she's alright. But it was Annie who I was surprised by. Danielle Harris, who recently played, who was no stranger to Halloween because she recently had played the character. Oh, man, the name slips my mind every time picking Tom. Okay, yeah, Jamie Lloyd in Halloween's 4 and 5. Sorry, the name slipped my mind. I had recently rewatched those, but too much stuff's been going on with me. It escaped my mind. I do apologize. Dee Wallace, who you know best from E.T. and also, well, other horror films like The Howling, which I recently watched for the first time this month. You'll see that on the first time watch his ranking next month. Let's see. And Critters and Cujo played Cynthia Strode. Yeah, crazy. You even get special appearances from Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees as a character, Derek Allen. And the late great Sid Haig, also from the Firefly family trilogy, as the character Chester Chesterfield, the graveyard caretaker. Yeah. I'd say the cast is kind of mixed and what have you. Most of them are good, some are not good. So anyway, yeah. The film got mixed reviews and what have you. The story is reasonable. Again, the origin story just could have used just a little bit of trimming and what have you. But overall, Rob Zombie's direction wasn't too bad, and Tyler Bates' score wasn't too bad, even though John Carpenter also took part of the themes and what have you. So overall, I think Halloween from Rob Zombie isn't too bad, but would I recommend it? I'd say maybe to be on the safe side, give it a one-time watch. If you're not satisfied with it, stick with the Firefly family trilogy and the original Halloween, okay? This film did well and put out a sequel 2 years later, which I will re-review maybe later on this October. Maybe. We'll see. Because I am planning to do a re-review of Halloween 3 Season of the Witch this October for Spooktacular October. And if I got some room, maybe, mind you, I'll re-review Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Alright? Good. So what are your thoughts on Rob Zombie's Halloween? I mean, like I said, it's a mixed bag for me and what have you, but it doesn't really bother me much. I just wish it could have just used a little trimming on some scenes and what have you. But anyway, again, let me know what you think of this film in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And stay tuned for my September 2022 schedule coming up next time. Thanks for watching, and if you like this, consider checking out my reviews for these other re-reviews for these other 3 Halloween films. The upper left-hand corner is my re-review of the original from 1978. The upper right-hand corner is my re-review of Halloween 2 from 1981, and the bottom left-hand corner is my re-review of Halloween H2O 20 years later from 1998. And in the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.